Hey guys, it's me again, Eric, here at Mountaintop 9, and tonight I want to talk about a really obscure anthology horror flick that was put out on VHS sometime in the early 90s. I'm not sure whether it was 1991 or whether it was 1992, but it was somewhere in that region, and the movie is called Terrifying Tales. Now, something may leap out at you right away. Look closely. Where have you seen this sucker before right there? If you guessed Creepshow, you'd be correct. The distributors of this movie took the specter that lurks outside little Billy's bedroom window, you know, the creep, and slapped him right here on the fucking cover, alright? Now, when we turn it over and look at the back, look at that right there. Now that looks an awful lot like the vampire from the movie Subspecies, from the Subspecies series. So, there's another one. This down here, I'll be dipped in shit if that isn't from Poltergeist. That looks a lot like when the mom falls in the water and muck there at the end. You know, when everything's going fucking haywire at the end. That looks like one of the corpses that comes up, you know, that's down there in all that mud and water and shit. So we got Creepshow, a still from Creepshow, a still from Subspecies, and something from Poltergeist right here. I think that's Poltergeist. So, right away, what does that fucking tell you? It tells me that the film itself, whatever's in this anthology flick, isn't that impressive. The fact that they had to blatantly lift images from other movies and slap them on this VHS slipcase, that's a bad sign right there. I mean, that doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence that what you're going to see when you put this in the tape deck doesn't give you a lot of confidence, I'll tell you that right now. And the reason, like I said, that I can't tell you exactly when this VHS was put out on the market is because there is no date anywhere on the case itself or on the tape. There's no date on this thing. Another thing you'll notice that this is a cheap, lightweight EP sell-through tape, the kind that you would find in the bargain bin at Kmart back in the mid-90s, and therefore the picture quality on this is atrocious. One thing that I do like about this case, though, is that it brings to mind a much, much superior anthology flick, and that is Campfire Tales, which was also from the early 90s. Now that one has Gunnar Hansen and the wraparound segments, and that is just a kick-ass anthology. It's just so much fun. It's not great classy cinema, but it's a really good B-horror flick. This thing fucking sucks, but the fact that it's kind of got a skeletal thing on the cover and the blue color scheme, it makes me think of Campfire Tales. So that's the one good thing. It makes me think of a better movie. I do want to point out that this isn't even a legit anthology horror flick. What this is 3 different student short films put together by the distributor. They just took 3 different college film student projects and just threw them together in a real haphazard way. And it really shows because there is no coherent theme that runs throughout the duration of this. It's just 3 films with a beginning and end. They literally have opening credits, then ending credits, and then the next story starts with opening credits and then end credits. So you can tell that they were never even meant to be together. They're just mashed up in a really shitty way. And these aren't kick-ass, you know, truncated things like if you put on something like Night Train to Terror. You know, they took stuff from different movies and shortened them and then kind of shoved them together and it's real disjointed. But that movie is so awesome. It's got gore, it's got nudity, it's got so much sleaze, and it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot to remember from that one. These are really cheap jack college film student type things that were created on a very, very slim budget. So now that I've taken the time to point that out, let's take a nice in-depth look at this stupid piece of shit. Now, if you look down here in the corner, you'll see that this film critic, Kevin Thomas of the LA Times, he says that it's breathtaking, that it whizzes all the technical stuff. Yeah, it whizzes all right. It whizzes all over your face while it pulls down your fucking panties. Terrifying Tales. Look at that cheap-ass title card. I already want a goddamn refund. 10 Seconds to Countdown is the first tale, and it's directed by Armand Garabedian. It's a dark night somewhere out in the desert, and you can hear spacey cosmic sound effects as shit lights up in the fucking sky. I don't know whether those lights are supposed to be stars or UFOs, so I'll just call it shit instead. Anyway, this first story is about this young brunette. I guess she's a teenager or something, and she's running away from home. She sneaks out of her house one night and hitching rides and all this shit, and ultimately she ends up at a pool hall, and she's asking questions, asking where their fucking bathroom is and stuff like that. And eventually she goes in the back where this dude, he's got a close cropped haircut. He looks like he was in the fucking Marines or something. He's back there shooting pool, and she goes up to him and tries to make small talk. And ultimately what happens is she says, hey, I'm trying to get away from my dad. Now, I don't know what the deal is with her dad and why she ran away. This movie doesn't delve into that. All we know is this chick ran away from home and that her dad is crazy or something. He probably just wants her to follow the fucking rules, you know, and go to school and do her homework and all that shit. And she's probably just being a rebellious teen. But I digress. So anyway, this girl's in there and the guy's playing pool. And keep in mind, this guy doesn't talk at all. He doesn't say a word. So a normal person would say, hey, this guy kind of seems a bit off because I'm talking to him and he never responds. Isn't that kind of strange? But she keeps talking to him and she says, hey, you got to give me a ride. I got to get out of town. My dad's crazy. Well, he gives her a ride. He doesn't say nothing, but he lets her get in the car with him. So she's riding along with him. And as they're riding down this desert road, she starts to realize, hey, things are getting kind of weird. The dad ends up pulling up behind them, and he's following behind, and the crazy-ass driver, he pulls out a gun and shoots it into the air, and then the dad crashes. Now, this is enough for the girl. She starts to really freak out at this point, and she wants out of the goddamn car. Except this crazy guy that doesn't say a fucking word, he won't pull over the car. He won't even respond to her. He just keeps driving, and his speed keeps accelerating. So finally, the girl, she starts trying to open the passenger side door. Well, of course, she can't get out that way. The guy's flying down the road. She'll fucking die. So what she ends up doing is pushing a cigarette lighter in. She gets it hot, and then she pulls it out, and she tries to burn this fucker right on the face. Well, wouldn't you know it, this guy is impervious to pain. He doesn't even react to it, okay? So that leads you to two conclusions. This guy is either a fucking T-800 or whatever the fuck, a T-1000, he's a Terminator or something, or he's a goddamn alien from outer space. Now, this is called 10 Seconds to Countdown. It opened up with a dark night sky and some spacey sound effects. You do the fucking math. What do you think he is? Do you think he's a robot or an alien? Well, if you guessed the latter, you'd probably be closer to correct. Even though, don't get all excited. This isn't Extra or Alien or anything like that. So you're not going to get to see any slimy special makeup effects or any good gore. Oh, no, no, no. Keep in mind, I may be making this sound more exciting than it really is. Really, this is boring as shit. Ultimately, they end up in the goddamn mountains somewhere, and she ends up in this, like, this laboratory that's on a spaceship out there hidden in the desert mountains. Now, I'm not going to give away the ending or anything, but there really is no ending. It doesn't even really make any sense. It's super boring. It's unengaging, and keep in mind, the visuals look like hell warmed over, like I said earlier. It's just so murky, and that's because it's a cheap EP tape, I'm sure, doesn't do it any favors. But even if this looked great, even if this looked like the second coming of fucking Titanic or whatever, a James Cameron movie, this story still sucks. It still makes no sense. I don't know who these aliens, what their intentions even are. We don't know at the end. I couldn't even tell whether they took this girl up into space with them or if they left her on Earth. I don't even know. But overall, this first story, 10 Seconds to Countdown, gets a big 2 thumbs down from me. I give this one an F. Very, just, why would you want to open your anthology thing with this? I gotta tell you, this is just the worst story of the three that you could have opened your tape with, is this one. It's not terrifying in the least. Doesn't qualify as horror at all. Just really lame. And at the end credits of this tale, it says at the end that this one was made in 1986. So it had been kicking around for a few years before the distributors got the rights to it or whatever and decided to slap it on this fucking tape. But yeah, 10 seconds to count down, 10 seconds to suck ass. Because this one is just the bottom of the barrel. So let's move on to the second story and see if the next one fares any better. Next up is Final Destination Unknown, directed by Paul Bunnell. Some cute blonde chick is driving out on a long stretch of road, filling her panties with shit stains and sweat. She sees a hitchhiker standing along the side of the road and stupidly decides to pick him up. She probably wants to toss his salad. Long story short, this guy is not a friendly hitchhiker and he strangles the pretty dame. After this act of flagrant unappreciation, he gets back on the road hitchhiking again. Eventually, an old rich guy picks him up and offers to take him back to his house for a hot bowl of sweet and sour chili. Now I love myself some chili, goddammit. I like nothing better than getting a nice big steaming bowl of chili filled with juicy ground beef, nice shredded cheese and saltines and kidney beans. I eat that shit up with relish. But I'll tell you what, I'll be damned if I've ever heard of sweet and sour chili. What the hell are they talking about? Have you ever heard of sweet and sour chili? Anyway, it turns out the old man has a big surprise in store for this hitchhiker, and he may just come to regret killing that broad by the road. I gotta tell you, this second story is light years better than the first one. It has a better, mood that's present right from the start. The storyline is just more engaging. It grabs you. It keeps your attention. And it's something that I could see being played late at night on a channel back in the 80s, like at 2 in the morning. It just has that kind of late night type of atmosphere. This one's got a good little synth score going on that adds to the ambience of the entire piece. I like some of the camera shots are pretty cool. I like it when the sky has this pink coloring to it. It's kind of got this alternate dimension, kind of Twilight Zone type of feel. I like that stuff. So this story is much better than the first. Definitely kind of gives you a little shot in the arm. If this is a tape you just have to watch, at least this middle story kind of wakes you up a little bit. And now that we've finished covering this second story, let's move on to the third and final chapter in this saga of shit. Creatures of Habit is directed by Ephraim Schwartz in 1986. It's about a coroner named Malcolm that moves in with a hooker after her roommate gets murdered. She also lives with her crazy-ass brother, Charlie. This dumb fuck spends most of the story talking about fried potatoes and eggs. I love fried potatoes. You give me some fried potatoes and you throw some onions in there and cook those up, caramelize them real good, I'll tell you, there's nothing better. You throw some of those on a plate with some toast and butter and I'm all set, motherfucker. Anyhow, this story meanders like crazy, and you never even find out who killed the hooker's roommate. It's just pointless, and it's also extremely depressing. The music in this story is ultra sad. So if the composer's goal was to bum everyone out, well, he did a damn fine job, I'll tell you that. So there you have it, folks. This cheap-ass tape, Terrifying Tales. You ain't missing much if you pass by this one and don't give it a second thought. If you see this anywhere, just look the other way. Pretend it doesn't exist. Because, this thing ain't worth watching. Even sometimes I'll recommend something just as a curiosity piece. Just to make interesting conversation. Sometimes people like to watch real obscure stuff, even if it's not that good. But this is so bad, there's just no point. You're wasting your life if you watch something like this. The first story, or short student film, because let's face it, that's what all these are. They're just short films that have nothing to do, they should have never even been put together by these distributors. The first story is just totally dull. unengaging. It's a very murky. It's hard to even make out any of the details of what's going on, and it's just ham-fisted like sci-fi type stuff, but not good sci-fi. Definitely nothing that you would put under the banner of terrifying. The second tale is the best. It's head and shoulders above the first one, and it at least has some inkling of terror to it. You know, we have a murder that takes place and some cool stuff like that. So the second one is okay, but then you get to the third one, and the third one is just this downbeat, boring drama. It doesn't have any elements of horror or sci-fi or anything like that. Plus the ending, I don't even know. You never find out who killed the fucking roommate of this girl in the third story. The third story has a lot in common with the first. Both of them leave lots of unanswered questions. I mean, at least wrap up the story and let me know what the hell it was all about. So really, yeah, the only thing that's even remotely watchable in this collection is the second story. It's cool. You know, if it was taken out of this and shown as a bumper in between two horror movies late at night on a channel, you know, that would be really cool. You know, that'd be neat. But yeah, for the most part, this is just a big pile of shit. I don't recommend it in the least. And yeah, so that's Terrifying Tales. I thank you guys for clicking on this video. I've got a lot more cool stuff coming up for you. So if you liked this one, please click the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've ever seen this stupid piece of shit. And you know what? If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys again next time.